Immigrant stories are American stories. In Detroit, we are fortunate to have a number of service organizations that do a tremendous job working with immigrants who have found their way to our great city. And I'd like to share the story of one such family. Carmen and her 2 kids left Venezuela due to extreme poverty and violence in her home country. They tried living in Colombia and other parts of Latin America, but could not make more than a bare subsistence wage or find the safety that she was seeking. She then decided to try coming to America. She crossed through the Darien Gap, a 66-mile stretch of jungle where there are fears of extortion, rape, kidnapping, or being killed. She walked through rainforests, over mountains, and through swamps. And she almost drowned in a river while carrying her baby. Luckily, they survived. One of our service providers stated, "No one takes that kind of journey if their homeland was safe. These people really cannot go back. Their countries have collapsed. It's too dangerous." When she arrived in America, Carmen said, "I was overcome with a sense of peace when I got to the United States. I felt safe." In Springfield, Ohio, Haitian immigrants have trickled in to work in produce packaging and machining factories. They started restaurants. Business owners in Springfield were desperate to find workers due to the labor shortages after the COVID-19 pandemic. Employers have talked about how hard the Haitian immigrants work and how they'll save their machines and how they wish they could actually hire more immigrants. The vast majority of Haitians in the United States are with temporary protected status that they were allocated due to the violence and unrest in Haiti. And there's a Haitian Flag Day that takes place at the local park every May, now in Springfield. And there is a thriving Haitian community organization serving the community. In New York, Wang, a 36-year-old Chinese immigrant, rises early to try and find work every day. He left China after making that decision, after making comments critical of the Chinese government on Twitter. He then traveled several weeks once he got to the Americas from Ecuador to the United States border and spent 2 days in an immigration detention facility. He says it is impossible that they would walk on foot for over 1 month for that purpose of endangering Americans. We came here to make a living. Recent Chinese migrants came to America to escape poverty and financial losses from the strict lockdown in China. Some came to escape the threat of imprisonment in China where they cannot speak freely. Another Chinese migrant in New York described, "This trip is deadly. People die. This trip isn't suitable for women. It's not suitable for anyone." Alla and Maxim lived in Ukraine, 17 miles from the Russian border. On February 24, 2022, when the Russian army invaded Ukraine, they woke up to a red sky and the sound of bombs exploding. They lived in a crowded basement without heat, electricity, food, or medicine. Alla gave birth to a baby on the 4th day of the war. The family was sponsored by a couple in Saline, Michigan, who involved 100 local volunteers to help receive them here in Michigan. Maxim says they are starting from zero. One of the parents works hard for Comcast, and the other is trying to rebuild a family business. They are supporting themselves as well as their families in Ukraine. And they say, we are like a light in the darkness for them. September 13th through 22nd marks Welcoming Week across the country, an important time for us all to recognize the contributions of immigrants to our economy, our tax base, and the vibrancy of our communities. And most importantly, it is a time for us to recognize the humanity of people seeking refuge and the American dream. Despite the lies, the fear-mongering, and hate, immigrant communities will survive and persevere, just like we always have. Immigrants and refugees have endured war, poverty, economic desperation, violence, and dangerous political turmoil in their home countries. Immigrants and refugees have crossed rivers, jungles, deserts, and oceans because of the dream and the promise that America has long provided to people around the world. So I say that immigrant stories are American stories. And this Welcoming Week, I know that the incredible strength and resilience of immigrant communities, along with the support of our allies, will get us through and will continue to help make our nation a better place.